What's going on, people? Welcome to another episode of Spoiler Alert! I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Mr. Brian Munjoma from STFUandPlay.
Hey, people. What's up?
We got my boy, JJ from the Koalition.
What's happening, people?
And, of course, Emilio Lopez, who is there! He's not just a picture anymore. He's a real person. He became a real boy. All right, so we're here to spoil the amazing Spider-Man 2. We got a lot. We got a lot to say about this fucking movie. This movie takes place after the last one. It's not easy being Spider-Man, and it's not easy to make a good Spider-Man movie. Apparently, what? Okay, I don't even know where to begin with this movie, man. Like, there's a good movie in here somewhere under the horrible directing and shitty script and overabundance of villains. There's a good movie somewhere in there. It was just hard to dig it out. Who wants to start this off, man? I don't even know where to begin with this shit.
Let me ask you.
The one who's talking.
Let me ask you this. Am I like the only one who actually thought the movie was somewhat decent?
I liked it.
Yeah. Manny, I'm gonna save you for last. I'm gonna save you for last, man, because you flat out hated the movie. Brian, let's go for you first. You actually wrote a review for this, so give us your, what would you think about the movie?
I actually thought it was pretty good. It was a lot better than the last one. The last one was kind of okay-ish. Like this one, they went in. It's kind of like as I said in like the opening paragraph. It's like Sony just seen what Marvel was doing with their universe and what DC was doing with their universe, and said, okay, we need to act. We need to like start acting like we're actually like in this game and like try and make a good Spider-Man movie. So then they tried just to throw in as much interesting things in at the same time, and I think they did a relatively good job. Yes, it's not as good as, let's say, Avengers or Dark Knight. It's full of plot holes and inconsistencies out the asshole, and some dodgy script writing here and there, and Gwen Stacy's lines need to just be gone from the movie. But it honestly is a good attempt. Like, I can't really fault them for trying this hard. Like, they definitely went above and beyond what they did last time. Last one just felt it was half-assed, but this one it genuinely felt that these guys were actually trying to make something like really good, and I thought that they achieved something pretty cool. I think anyway.
All right, Jay, what about you? Quick little summary before we get into details. What would you think of it?
I thought it was decent. I'm going to be honest with you. I actually prefer this Spider-Man universe a little bit over the Sam Raimi Spider-Man universe. I think that this movie was much better than the first Amazing Spider-Man. It has some things going for it. There still is a lot of problems. I think it still has a long way to go, especially going into a third movie or another sequel for this type of, Amazing Spider-Man universe or whatnot. But I think what's there is a good foundation. What's there is a good basis. But there still needs to be a lot work done and a lot of key points for this being, coming off as a great film as opposed to a decent film.
Yeah, with me, the thing is, the whole story was cool. I like the fact that you got to delve into his past more, specifically his father, Richard Parker. The problem with the movie was, like, was this Mark Webb guy a music video director before this? Because it felt like a music video. Like, everything was just shot really fast. Nothing had time to breathe. And the script writing was, terrible. I'm like, really? We're getting away with these lines. There was some cool stuff. I liked the action. I like some of the stuff between Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker, but other than that, it's like, yeah, this shit needed a couple of rewrites. Manny, what about you?
Hated it. No, no. Yeah, that film had a lot of problems. I mean, just like what you're going back to before, Tony, you were saying, like, it definitely felt like a music video director was directed this film. It's just like nothing plays out like naturally. Everything just kind of, they cut you off right before you even get into anything. It was a really weird movie to watch. Yeah, and it had a lot of problems, but we'll get into that stuff.
All right, so let's start kind of with the beginning, because I found the whole intro very interesting. With Richard Parker, basically, it was kind of like a James Bond intro. You get that crazy action scene. He was killing off the spiders, all that stuff. It's kind of interesting because even in the comics, they don't delve too much into it. Obviously, this is different than that, but I thought that whole thing was cool. The little backstory of how it all came to be. and Oscorp's like duplicity and all that other stuff. What do you guys think about how that was all handled?
I actually didn't like the intro at all.
Oh, why is that?
I'm like, okay, so now what? Was it Richard Parker or Robert Parker is a friggin' action movie star? He's Jack Bauer now. I almost, come on. And then the whole shit with the stupid downloading thing. He's like he's uploading his what is it? The video over to to his hidden base somewhere, and it goes off, and then he plugs it back in, and he can begin where it left off. That was
that was stupid as shit. I was like, are you kidding me? It doesn't work like that, man.
It doesn't work that way.
When that one gets cut, that's it. You got to restart it.
Oh, we agree.
It's a movie download, and like it seemed like his computer was too advanced for the age, because was it not in the 80s or something?
Well, okay.
Or early 90s or something?
Peter Parker's like 16 years old, right? So, I don't know. We want to say he was 10 years old when that.
I want to say like late 80s to early 90s, because keep in mind towards the later end of the film, which we'll get more into it, some of the stuff that's like it's transcribed on there takes place in 2014, which is now. So if you go back like 18 years? Well, not 18 years, like about like 10 years.
Yeah, go 10 years ago.
Yeah, the internet thing. Yeah, that probably wouldn't have been anything like that on a plane.
Yeah, so that would be 2004. It wasn't that bad then, I guess.
But still, it wouldn't have been. Number one, it would have taken him way longer to do that.
Yeah, it's a movie. It's a movie. They got to do that. I don't know. I honestly didn't have a problem with that. I just like seeing all that back stuff, because obviously in this movie they changed it as like Peter Parker's dad had a hand in with the creating the crazy spiders and other animals and stuff. I still like that. The way it was handled was a little crappy, but there was a lot of that in that movie.
I also think that it kind of dilutes his past tragedy, because his father is sorry, I hit the microphone. His father is like Ben Parker is the reason why he became Spider-Man, right? Mm-hmm. But then he has this whole other insanity background to him, and I just felt like we have one defining tragedy. And why do we need to see any more of this? His parents died under mysterious things. They worked for Oscorp or whatever. I don't think we needed that intro. I think we could have had more Spider-Man instead of seeing, Dad beat the shit out of a pilot.
I agree with that. I want to get. Yeah, I was gonna say was that I actually agree with that. I could get behind that. That in my opinion, the whole thing involving Peter's parents, I think was very, very movie cliche. I understand why they did it, but I would have rather had it where they kind of hinted at this a little bit more in this movie and then establish it in the final sequel or whatever the next sequel is going to be. Because I felt like in the first movie, they had more of a foundation to really kind of get this mystery behind it. Like something really big went down behind Peter's parents' death, and it involved Oscorp, and I felt like they were really building up to something, especially involving Norman Osborn, which I felt later on in the film was very, very kind of like deflated very quickly. I understand why they kind of went with it involving Harry Osborn. The more focus was focused on him. I would have loved to see Norman become the Green Goblin rather than Harry. Okay, because I know we're getting spoiler territory like that.
Hey, man, this is the spoiler alert, baby.
They know. They already know, so I'm okay. Yeah, but my point is that I would have wanted that to see kind of evolve a little bit more, and then finally in the next film, after the third film set in this universe, we kind of get a little bit much more clarity, because I feel like it was clarified. It was kind of given its conclusion, or kind of given our answers of what happened to them, but it felt very, very, very rushed and very, very kind of just anticlimactic, or at least in that part of the arc.
Yeah, that movie in general had a lot of that, that it wasn't fully cooked. I want to jump on something Manny said, because it's a real big problem I have with this movie. At the beginning, he graduates and stuff, and he tells Gwen, "Oh, I can't be with you because I'm still haunted by what your dad said to me." And that, whatchamacallit, Captain Stacy's death kept haunting him. And I'm thinking, wait. So you got over Uncle Ben,
but you can't get over Captain Stacy?
Yeah, it's like the central reason you're Spider-Man is because your uncle died. You don't want that to happen to anyone. So as soon as somebody dies under you, that's the one person you focus on. It just seems weird. That's not what Spider-Man's about. He is protecting the city because of Uncle Ben, not because of Captain fucking Stacy.
I would have I would have gone more behind it if they kind of made it a little bit much more clear that it was because he didn't want to be with Gwen to get her in harm's way. That's why he kept kind of reminiscing about Captain Stacy. Like, I felt that kind of was very unclear. Like, they kind of, said it a little bit. Like, it kind of got lost.
I agree.
It's also kind of random at sometimes, too. Like,
yeah, I agree.
He's fighting somebody, and all of a sudden Captain Stacy shows up. Oh, which, by the way, Captain Stacy seems to age.
Yes. Yeah, that bothered me. It's like, there was a lot of scenes between Gwen and Peter that I'm like, if you just talk it out instead of yelling at each other, you could work through this. Like, listen, I want to protect you. I don't want you in harm's way. He doesn't say, like, no, you're dead.
I feel like that combo they had towards the end, when, like, right before he gets to the whole stuff with Electro and also the Green Goblin and whatnot, that conversation that him and Gwen had should have happened earlier in the movie.
Yeah.
Like the first and the second time they were together.
Yeah, seriously, just get that drama bullshit out of the way. Yeah, there was actually one specific thing that I'm like, why are you even talking about this? I forgot what it is now, but it's like, you don't need that. There's a lot of superfluous kind of bullshit with that. But yeah, that bothered me. I'm like, why aren't... Uncle Ben was, like, mentioned once. Like,
I think it was mentioned by Aunt May, actually.
Yes.
And never hear him about Peter. Like, they never have a conversation about it because, again, like you said, that's really the big thing about Spider-Man, is like he pretty much he gets this call to arms because of what happens to Uncle Ben. It should have had him a little bit much more influence on the decisions that he made.
Exactly, because that is all that, it's how Batman's influenced by the death of his parents, Peter's influenced by Uncle Ben. You can't take that away from there. So I just found it really weird that they put it on Captain Stacy himself. I didn't get that at all.
It's almost like, obviously they couldn't get the
Martin Sheen
to be back in the film.
You couldn't get the elusive man back in this thing.
Yeah, so you couldn't get him back in there. So there you go. So going back to what I also said about, this is slightly going back to the original opening. I also feel that you really could have didn't need it. You didn't need to have that intro at all. You could have just dropped it, and we could have just got started.
That could have been flashbacks, like little mini flashbacks here and there, just to shorten it. I think that again, that explanation should have been in the next film, like that. But if they were still dead set on keeping that in there, have it as flashbacks or like really brief, quick montage things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they could have done something more interesting. You're right about that. I don't disagree with that. I want to talk about Electro.
This one's eh.
This is going to be interesting.
You mean Dubstep Man?
By the way, did any of you guys catch the little thing towards the end when he's fighting him in that little kind of power plant, that little itsy bitsy spider jingle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I thought was unneeded. That I thought was stupid.
Really? Oh, come on.
I thought it was stupid.
In tune with Spider-Man and his life.
I could buy the Spider-Man theme as his ringtone, but then I was like, come on, this is already getting a little bit too tongue.
That was pushing it for me too. I'm like, where did you get that ringtone, man?
It's like, I had somebody make it for me.
Yeah, just like they made the Spider-Man costume.
I don't mind that ringtone. I just didn't mind Electro, going itsy bitsy spider like that, but having it where every time he teleports like that. I would have rather brought it him, humming to himself as he's firing at him. I would have been like, okay, that'd have been good. But then that was just too cartoony for me.
Speaking of character development, character development, that Electro was like a perfect example of that. He only had 2 scenes, and then all of a sudden he was evil.
Yeah, he was the most cliched geek nerd, whatever, ever. It's like, okay, and he's stupid at the same time. It's like, how are you a nerd and dumb? Why are you carrying these big ass blueprints? There's something called a fucking thumb drive. Use that shit to keep the fucking blueprints. Why are you pulling this shit around?
Keep this in mind. Wasn't he a little bit way too fast in accepting his powers during that whole scene in Times Square? Did you guys feel that? Because I feel like, at least some of the better villains and a lot of the other better superhero movies out there, it takes a little bit of time to be okay, I could control my powers, or oh my god, this is actually a gift to me, and then that's when they get all corrupted in their mind. This one, it was like a 5-second interval between the time that Spider-Man got there and so the time frame, when he was actually talking to him, that he started firing on all the dudes after he got shot by the police.
That's a fundamental problem with this movie in general. Everything was too fucking rushed. That scene with Harry, oh my god, it's like, oh, I'm dying. There's the suit. Now I'm evil. It's like, how did you pick up? Okay, I need to control myself. I'm about to lose my mind. How the fuck do you get into that suit and automatically become a master of flying the fucking?
And by the way, he gets healed. He gets healed by the suit because it says that on the thing. That was random.
I mean, they mentioned the suit.
Clearly he's dying, He's dying apparently. He's got this terminal disease or whatnot, and the suit just healed him straight up. Like I could have did that earlier in the movie.
He's got goblin-itis.
The only reason he needed to be injected with that bullshit is to give him the green skin. The fucking suit could have healed him.
The thing is, even his father had green skin, so he didn't even need to get injected anyways.
And goblin hands too.
He had goblin hands. It's like, I have monster disease.
Because he turns into the Green Goblin, it's Harry Osborn turns into the Green Goblin. What do you guys think about them, like, kind of like shooing to the side Norman Osborn for this movie?
Why was he in the last movie?
He was in.
Very briefly.
He should have been more established in the last fucking movie, just like Harry should have been. That whole scene with him and Peter was, I liked it, it was cool, but it was, again, too rushed. I'm like, why didn't we have more of this? It should have been in the last movie that they were friends. It's just like, hey, we're friends, let's talk for a little bit. Now we're enemies.
Again, underdevelopment. They could have had Harry show up in this one, and then after that, then develop the whole Goblin shit in the next film.
I honestly could have dealt without Electro and just dealt with the Goblin. I felt like if you take him out of the equation like that and just develop the whole thing with Norman and Harry Osborn, or have a lot more focus, whatever focus they had with Jamie Foxx, shift that to Norman Osborn and then introduce the Goblin that way, and then have Harry turn into the Green Goblin afterwards towards the climax of the movie, it would have been a much better movie in my opinion.
I agree. They needed one of the villains needed to be dropped, either Electro or Green Goblin. One of them needed to be dropped.
Let's talk about the Rhino. Let's talk about the Rhino, The Rhino's in there for 5 seconds, okay? Yeah. Which basically is a lead into Sinister Six, because we all know that's coming.
You saw that ending.
They touted about this dude in the trailers, all over the place, in the marketing for this movie. And the guy's only been there for 5 seconds.
Yeah. Go ahead, Brian.
It's like they pretty much just show all his scenes in the trailers. So if you've seen the trailers, then you've seen all the Rhino that there is to be, which is, I was so disappointed. I was like, oh. Because it was getting towards the end of the film. I was like, oh, okay, it's 2 hours now. Okay, Rhino's fight is about to begin. Isn't it something like the third act, and then just cuts to the end? I'm like, so then I waited this long for the Rhino, only for you guys just tease him a little bit and then just run away. Seriously, what's up with that, guys? That's not
he looked cool. He looked cool. Don't get me wrong. I actually like this Rhino in that fight.
I had an issue with the suit. It's I can't get around having
legs.
Yeah, it's it's a fully mechanical suit, and I can't really see Spider-Man going up against that.
He's got guns. He's got a lot of guns, apparently.
But still, I can't, because it's a fucking Rhino suit. It's one sharp corner, and then that's Spider-Man gone. I'm sorry, but I can't accept that. And just come on, being punched by a mechanical suit, I don't care how strong you are, unless you're Superman, you're pretty much screwed.
No, it's still Spider-Man. He could take it. But
really?
Yeah, I could buy it.
After all the cuts and bruises he gets from glass, but yet
no, but dude, in this movie, unlike the Sam Raimi ones, you actually see how powerful he is. He's lifting up fucking cars and stuff. Spider-Man's supposed to be powerful, so they show it. So. With the Rhino, he could just dodge it. Look how big and bulky the Rhino is. He could just dodge all that shit.
Yeah, but then if he gets hit, though.
If he gets hit, he's going to be fucked up. I know what you mean, but
exactly.
He doesn't know how to dodge it. It's like Mike Tyson in Punch-Out, man. If you get hit once, it's over, so you better dodge that motherfucker.
But in all honesty, I could have dealt without him. I would have rather just have him in the next movie, because we know he's going to be part of the Sinister Six. Just totally take that away and just put it towards something else, because it felt like it was useless.
I find it funny that I still found the movie halfway decent, but I'm getting so worked up right now. Okay. This is why that scene shouldn't have been in there. That little boy, oh my, that was so stupid.
Oh, that was stupid. Forget that. That was a table flipper. That was stupid.
Number one, the theater.
Can I say one thing?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Remember in Iron Man 3 when that little kid popped up and no one said jack shit about that?
At least that kid in Iron Man 3 was smart and he kind of inspired Tony to do something.
Equally as annoying. I'm sorry to say, but the Iron Man 3 kid was equally as annoying. As soon as I seen him, that is when I knew that the movie was going downhill.
Yeah, you don't like the potato gun? I mean, come on. In all honesty, though, I get what you're saying, though. But as far as this movie's concerned, that little boy was kind of useless. That was stupid.
Who made that costume for him? Did his mother make it for him? They don't sell Spider-Man shit in this universe.
Go ahead, Manny. Sorry.
Okay. How incompetent is the NYPD? Literally, they have these people roped off somewhere really close to a friggin' monster or robot that's shooting at them. And where? What?
Hey,
they shouldn't have been able to see that fight. it should have just been on the other. They should have been blocked off at the other side of town. No kid, they wouldn't have everybody roped off the side like they're having a fucking parade.
Let me ask you guys something also. Speaking of like minor characters or whatnot, what did you guys think of that little like brief scene when he was talking to J. Jonah Jameson through email?
I thought that was pretty funny. He's like, don't, like, no. He's like, Spider-Man's
Do you think it's kind of weird though? Do you think it's kind of weird though that we haven't seen J. Jonah Jameson at all?
Yeah, that is weird. Yeah, he did say wrong. I don't know why they're not showing J. Jonah Jameson. He's a pretty like big part of the Spider-Man mythos.
And maybe that's like they haven't found like a guy that can suit the role like in the universe. Like that is my only thoughts, because why else shouldn't they not have him yet?
Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense. And then in this universe, in this movie, they established that New Yorkers like Spider-Man. They really like him. So how come they're not playing up the aspect that the newspaper guy hates Spider-Man? They just should have played that up some more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I think in the Maguire ones, like, people didn't like him too much, but in this one, like, we love Spider-Man. People were really upset when he left.
Is it traditional that pretty much Spider-Man's world, that whole section of New York City, doesn't like Spider-Man? Technically, that's a completely offshoot, because you think about it, right? This one, I felt like everybody, most of the general public, was very, very friendly to Spider-Man. Like, they support him being there. But I don't remember any of that from any of the original comics at all. Like, everybody universally, besides Jay, hated Spider-Man in some form or fashion, or just really generally disliked him or didn't understand it.
Yeah, you're right about that. People do not like Spider-Man, but the thing is, Spider-Man gets so much shit. I didn't mind that he actually got a little bit of love for once. It's kind of like Ghost of Sparta when Kratos was getting some love back at home. Like, that's cool because everybody usually hates this guy.
He did kind of save the city from being turned into a bunch of lizards.
Yeah, that is true. That's gonna win you some points.
True. But I feel like something like that could have been spun around by J. Jonah Jameson into something like that. Like, hey, look, we have all these like freaks running around, and granted, this guy saved us, but what if he's a freak along as one of them, or something like that? Something crazy they could spin in and they could turn the public opinion like that. Because remember, J. Jonah Jameson is like head of the newspaper, like that. He's got a lot of power of influence for people's perception.
Yeah, in a newspaper though, do newspapers even have influence anymore?
Okay, like it could put J. Jonah Jameson in this world. It could be like the internet. It could be like online forums. It could be the news.
Yeah,
like that. I think something like that could have added a little bit much more tension for Spider-Man while he's going through all this stuff. It could have helped justify a lot of the decisions he made throughout the entire movie. But I think also going into the third film, that should definitely play a part in it, because that is, I think, it really key into Spider-Man's world, because that's at least one of his main antagonizing forces against him.
Yeah. Going back to the whole NYPD thing, I'm gonna going to New Yorkers territory. New Yorkers. Okay. When in your life have you ever heard, and this goes for comic books too, when in your life have you ever heard of a high-speed chase in the middle of Manhattan?
Never, because they can't have any.
It can't happen. There's so much traffic. It's impossible. So I'm like, really?
It's against the law for them to do it in actuality.
Yeah, there's like 10 police cars after a fucking vehicle. They don't allow that. Against the law, the cops cannot do that. They have to just let them be. So I'm like, okay, first of all, people just cleared traffic for this crazy action scene. It was dumb. And then another scene, this is just New Yorker nitpick. Like, there's a scene where Electro is clearly in a residential area, and he can clearly see Times Square a couple blocks down. No, there are no residential areas anywhere near Times Square. It's like nowhere near.
That's suspension of disbelief moments, to be honest.
Also,
I know exactly what you mean, because I'm a New Yorker myself. I used to live in New York, and I know exactly what you mean. It's just really, it's one of those moments like, okay, that's that comic book logic.
Yeah, exactly. And Manny, the D train. I know you were complaining about that.
Oh yeah, the D train. So it's like, okay, if you're a New Yorker, the D train really only goes to 3 places. It goes to Manhattan, and it goes to the Bronx, and it goes to Brooklyn. So does that mean that Peter Parker's family lived in Brooklyn?
Yeah, he's supposed to be from like Forest Hills.
He's supposed to be from Queens.
No, you're right. He is supposed to be from Queens.
Yeah. So the D train doesn't go to Queens.
Yeah,
unless Parker's and I'm sure Oscorp is somewhere on Midtown Manhattan.
He got to transfer. He got to transfer. That's all I'm saying.
Also another one. Speaking of this, okay, Harry and Peter are they go and hang out for a little bit. Now Oscorp is probably somewhere in Midtown Manhattan, right?
Yeah.
And they end up at the Brooklyn Bridge in Brooklyn, of course. At that one point, I'm like, wait, what? So what did you guys do? You just got in a car and drove over there because the sights look nice, or something else? I don't know.
Yeah, New Yorker nitpicks right there. It's like, come on, guys, seriously. What else? Oh yeah, let's go back to Electro. That whole thing, his development was just so bad. It was like so cliched. It's like, okay, so let me get straight. You're gonna have the electric thing directly above the eel tank. That's where we're gonna place the thing.
Yeah, that's
He's
what.
an electrical engineer. He's not putting on any fucking gloves. He's just bare hands. Like seriously.
Really? Come on, guys. And it's just
compare that to like the comic like Origin. Like, how much worse is that?
That's true, because then he just get hit by lightning or something.
No,
He would climb up a telephone pole and go hit by lightning. It's like,
during that origin sequence, like when he becomes Electron, gets thrown into that water with all the eels and stuff. Didn't you feel like at first it was like intentional that all that stuff was happening to him? Because I thought like, okay, maybe this was planned out by someone in Oscorp for that to happen, but then it just got totally dropped like that happened. It was like totally an accident. It didn't feel that way when I was watching it. Am I the only one alone on this?
I didn't think that, but I would have preferred if it was actually planned, because that was just too coincidental. But the movie is just filled with fucking coincidences.
It's like, hey, let's put the eel tank at the bottom of the electrical room. That makes perfect sense.
It's like the way his boss came out to him was like, it felt like, okay, he was in on something, like he knew something was up, and then like that's why he said like, you'll go do this during your birthday or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like to me, that made more sense. Like I would have bought it if like maybe one of those other guys that were trying to like dethrone Harry Osborn was like in on something that they knew about that nobody else did.
Yeah, too bad. That would have been good, but yeah, they didn't do that shit. Ugh. What else?
I like his origin story, to be honest. Like, I thought that he was giving an interesting background. Like, he had a psychotic breakdown. Like, the guy was clearly mentally unstable. Like, did anyone else catch that? Or was
that was pretty obvious.
He was obsessed.
Yeah, come on, that has to count for something. Like, in his origin, like, how many villains do we know are actually like mentally unstable, apart from the whole Batman universe? But
there's quite a few actually.
Yeah, most of them actually. I mean, you're a villain. You have to be fucked up in the head.
No, but this guy was given like explicit, like he had a mental breakdown. He started talking to himself, and he even started talking to himself in Spider-Man's voice. Like, to me, that is the extra step from being regular crazy and just being absurdly crazy. So
but the thing is, there was no real redeemable factor about the character at all. He was just this crazy person who had anger issues. I mean, to me, at least we want to see him. I mean, the way most movies go is like they don't want to try to put just a cackly villain out there. But he was already mentally disturbed and problematic, and we didn't even get a lot of time to with him as a person, other than this crazy supervillain.
And you know what the crazy thing is? I don't blame that as Jamie Foxx as an actor. That was clearly all direction. No. And I see from the parts when he was already Electro, I felt that Jamie Foxx was really giving his all and trying to have fun with it. But you could tell like the entire thing was shitty the way that it was handled. From everything, the writing, it was just so bad.
Yeah, I need to jump in here because I've been public with the way I feel about Jamie Foxx. I don't really like him. I don't think he works too well. I think he's just better suited for comedy. I think he actually did a good job in this movie, despite the fact that the script was so shitty. He could have done a lot better. I think Jamie Foxx could have done a lot better with more room to grow. Because why wasn't he more sympathetic? He was clearly disturbed. I mean, he was cliche as fuck, but you could have worked with that. He could have worked with that, but the director or the writer didn't give him enough time.
Yeah, before we went in the elevator, that actually I thought was the funniest scene. Like when he was looking at the screen and saw Spider-Man there, and Gwen was like, Spider-Man or whatnot. That I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah, like you could have, because what he's going through, like people that feel like they're not known, they're not seen. That's something almost anybody can identify with. They can clean that up some more. No time for that. Now.
You know what they really were doing? They were wasting our time with fucking pointless sections of Gwen Stacy. Those sequences most of them have absolutely no heft on the storyline at all.
I agree. That scene I just described, that I was talking about between him and Gwen, like that could have been taken out. It could have been devoted to something else. But I totally get what you mean.
Yeah,
I like that.
Okay, you could use to develop the Electro character. You could have still had Gwen sections in there. But I think it's like 1 minute it's like, I'm going, or I'm this, we shouldn't see each other, let's see each other again. What? Just keep it simple.
Brian, go ahead. You wanted to say something about it.
Yeah, if you guys have read my review, I started to hint that I didn't like any of Gwen Stacy's lines for one particular reason, and the reason was it's foreshadowing out of the asshole. Like every other line she says was pretty much her just saying, "Look,
Exactly.
I'm a guy." And that
the movie, like three-quarters of the movie was about that. That pretty much was all that.
It was kind of like the guy who just wrote her line and just said, "I don't know what to do with her, so let's just foreshadow her because fuck it," you know.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where, like, at the end, I was just like rolling my eyes at everything she said. It's like, yes, you're going to die. Just hurry up and die already, so that we don't get to hear no more of your bullshit.
He had
Come on.
He's a character that had absolutely nothing to do in this film, and they wrote a bunch of lousy shit for her to say.
That is one of the things that I didn't like about the movie, and I honestly wish that they would have done something a lot better, or at least used the time a lot more interesting, like introducing like the Harry and Peter relationship, or Harry and Norman relationship, or even freaking flashbacks to Uncle Ben. Just anything is more interesting than that.
I would have rather had Norman Osborn, to be honest with you, because I felt like they hyped him up a little bit so much in the last movie that it was going to build up to something real good, real big, and they kind of just dropped him like a bad habit.
They it's like they had him all mysterious, like, oh, I'm dying, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, he's like, oh, I'm dying. Oh, dead.
Yeah, I would have rather had it where he just kind of like popped up later somehow. Like he wasn't actually dead and he actually got the suit. I would have rather had that. It would have made it more exciting.
Yeah, and then, of course, there's that mysterious guy in black that we keep on seeing all the time.
Yeah, who the hell is that?
I think that's Doc Ock. I swear to God, I really think that's Dr. Octopus because he sounds so intelligent. More so than most of the other characters there.
He could be. Yeah, let's go back to the Gwen Stacy thing, because, yeah, again, the writing is just bad. Here's something I didn't know. Apparently, the actors are going out in real life.
Oh, yeah, I heard that they started dating like during the set of the first one, or like slightly before the first one.
And I heard that a lot of their little scenes are actually kind of improvised. None of the dialogue was improvised, just the little scenes. I kind of liked it. You could actually kind of feel something. But then they open their mouths and it ruins everything. Okay, here's a perfect example. I'm watching this shit, and you know what movie it made me think of? Attack of the Clones. With
yeah, you know what? You're right. There you go. Between Batman and Anakin.
Yeah, that's how cringeworthy it was. Like,
I love you.
Yeah, I don't think it was as bad as that, but it was pretty bad, close to it.
It was like on that level, man. Oh God. Yeah, that Mystery Man. You know, I would like it to be Dr. Octopus. That would be cool. But then you know what? Let's talk about the third movie later because I got some some things about there. Let's talk about some of the shit we liked about the movie. I like the fucking special effects. Like the first scene where you see Spider-Man. I like the fact that you see
his suit ripping. I love that.
Fucking dope. And I like the fact that they really played up his spider powers in this one. Mm-hmm. Like, with like his sixth sense and stuff. Like, it was really cool. Like, remember the one scene in Times Square where, like, Spider-Man sensed where all these people were going to touch the metal part where that was already electrified, so he like webbed them all up. It's a fucking great, and he did a lot of things like he'd shoot his web, he'd go like that, but his foot would be further out than his hand and stuff, just like he does in the books. I thought that was really cool, and I know they redesigned his costume, so he actually looks more like Spider-Man from the books, like his
his costume now is better than the last movie, definitely. I think it's much more classic. I think that's the one that people resonate with.
Yes.
I really liked that. The whole everything, like they really just played up the spider-iness of it all. I really liked that. I thought that was great. Who was handling special effects for this? I thought they did a good job.
I don't know, but they did a fantastic job.
It could have been Sony. Sony did the last few ones. I think it was
probably. Actually, no. Now that I think about it, I was looking in the credits. It's actually the third floor. I know that studio personally. That actually do a lot of special effects. They do a lot of pre-comp stuff. They also did some stuff for Avengers and also, I believe, Conan the Barbarian.
Oh shit! The original one or the
the remake.
Okay, yeah, with Khal Drogo.
Yes.
But yeah, I like that. And, the swinging scenes were really good too. I think they moved from a long way.
This was the best swinging in my opinion.
It was
better than the Sam Raimi movies because you actually see where he's actually aiming for, which I thought was really good. Because a lot of people are always saying like he's aiming for like different things, where you never really get to see it or get an idea like that. So it was like it made much more sense in a reality-based movie.
Yeah, exactly. What were some of your favorite scenes in the movie, like special effects or action-wise?
I'd probably say the fight in Times Square. The fight in Times Square I thought was awesome.
Yeah,
that was really good.
I want to say that too. You know, the other amazing thing about all that film is that it was totally filmed in New York City, which is very rare for films these days. So, like everything from blue screen stuff to all the stuff on the street, so it was all actually there. So that means that they actually had to close down Times Square to do that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, they did.
I like that.
Yeah, and that's a lot of money too. By the way, New York is not cheap.
Oh well. The thing is that now there's a couple of things in place, which is they call it the Made in New York program or something like that, where they give studios a tax break. You know, so they pay their taxes for them, so they're getting a huge break by actually filming it in New York.
Well, Avengers 2 does that.
So yeah, so
that
maybe
maybe
the new Avengers film might be actually filmed in New York as opposed to most of it being filmed on studios and stuff like that.
Yeah, they always do it in Canada and stuff.
Well, yeah, they like in the original Spider-Man film, a lot of it was filmed in L.A. It's for some of the car chase scenes, and there's a couple of other things that were all filmed in, then they filmed little bits and pieces there. But here, this one, they actually filmed it in all the studios that are here in New York City, as well as on location on the field. So, which is actually kind of cool.
Yeah. Oh, and this is just a little add-on. If the movie was filmed in L.A., they had car chases, then that would make sense because there's a car chase every fucking L.A. They have them like crazy. I want to say something that's a little bit controversial, but I need to say it. I think this dude, Garfield, he's a better Spider-Man than.
I agree. I think.
And I'm specific about it. He's a better Spider-Man.
Not a good Peter Parker. Not a good Peter Parker. Yeah, okay, I could get behind that. I could understand that.
My problem with Maguire was he puts this costume on and he's still the same depressed dude that he is when he's out of the costume. Spider-Man, when he puts that costume on, he becomes a kind of different person. He starts throwing more jokes around, being more of an asshole. He did that in this movie. He was always throwing lines. I'm like,
he was more fun when he was Spider-Man. When he was talking shit to during the car chase scene, or even to any of the people that he was fighting and stuff, he was a lot more fun to see on the screen.
Yeah, exactly. And was it just me, or was he Spider-Man a lot more? Like there wasn't so much of like, oh, let me take my mask off randomly for no reason.
Yeah. He was more Spider. Yeah, I could say that. Yeah.
So I really do that. But his Peter Parker, he seems too cool to me.
He also seems like more of a douchebag as Peter Parker.
Yeah, a little bit.
I don't know. I didn't get douchebaggy from him, but I can understand like he doesn't seem as nerdy or as geeky as like what Peter Parker is.
I have trouble believing that he's like a brilliant scientist. Even at some point in the film, Gwen Stacy is telling him how he could make he could fix his webs.
That I had a huge issue with because like the guy was able to like invent his own like Spider-Man web thing, but yet not figured out that if you magnetize, it doesn't.
Yeah, basic
conduct. You know, it's like, come on, people. It's like, be consistent at least.
I will admit though, the battery scene was funny though. When he was trying to charge up the batteries, I thought that shit was hilarious.
I didn't really care for it that much, but I did like the soundtrack because they used like one of the songs that I love. It was Kid Cudi, "Pursuit of Happiness" or something like that, and I really love that song. So I was quite just happy just listening in. They're like, oh, this sounds cool.
You know what? I'm glad you bring that up. The soundtrack. The soundtrack is one of those things in movies I don't really notice because it just goes into the background. Not with this one. I noticed it and it was bad. It was really inconsistent. I'm like, what the fuck? It was inconsistent as fuck. It's like you had these like scenes that kind of sound comedic and stuff with these like kind of darker scenes, and then the whole dubstep. I hate dubstep already. So you just hear this shit.
That's not dubstep. That's electro.
It was bullshit. That's what it was. Whatever it was. It's dubstep, man.
Now we've entered a point where it's like 2 versus 1. So where do you stand on this?
No, I say
man.
Yeah, Venomous Fat Man. Where do you stand on this?
Let me put it this way. I think that, in my personal opinion, the best superhero movie that has come out so far with the best soundtrack was Avengers. And the reason why is because
you're dodging the question.
It set the mood and set the environment for scenes that are going on. This one.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because you're dodging the question. What do you think of the music?
I'm going to tell you. I'll tell you the reason why. The reason why I mentioned that is the reason why specifically I don't like is because I felt that the soundtrack for this movie it felt a little bit all over the place. and it wasn't setting the mood for what was going on screen. Like,
agreed. I 100% agree.
I felt it was very out of place, and the music in a movie is really supposed to get you like feeling in that environment. Like, okay, when things are tense, there's a tense soundtrack. When things are funny, it's a goofy soundtrack or no soundtrack at all. Like that. Sometimes even the best thing could have no music in the background at all. That sometimes could do wonders for a scene. And this one, I felt like it was just there to be there, or there just to like make a soundtrack, some sort of album that they could sell later on. It wasn't contributing anything to what was happening on screen. That's what I felt about the entire movie.
To me, it was distracting. I'm like, what the fuck is up with this? And it was Hans Zimmer of all people. Like, what the hell's going on?
Hans Zimmer did the soundtrack? No,
yes, he did. I'm not making that up, dude. Look at him. Hans Zimmer made
You have to wiki that, because I can't believe that.
Oh no, it was two people, and Hans Zimmer was one of them.
Blame the other guy then, because somebody.
I bet you was the other dude more than Hans Zimmer, because you notice something with Hans Zimmer's scores. Even with his like really tense, really heavy like music and stuff, he really adds stuff to a scene with his music, and this one did not have that at all. In any of the
even the electro theme, like whenever like electro was on the screen.
Like I thought it was more annoying too. I'm with Tony on
that
this.
electro theme was fucking dumb.
Even during that Times Square sequence when they were fighting and stuff, did not add to it. Like I understand. Okay, this was like electro's like type of music. This was a genre like to really kind of establish. Okay, he's here. This is what's going on and whatnot. And even then, I was just kind of like, okay, whatever.
Are you serious? Because I'm at the complete other end of the spectrum right now. Because I loved that those scenes. Like I felt that the soundtrack just added a lot more to it. Because there's only so much that you can emphasize to the audience that this guy is a badass or this guy is dangerous. And the music just exemplified that. Because okay, they had electro going around blowing stuff up. Okay, that's all. Like you could really do without killing people because of the age rating. So then they needed something else to like exemplify that this guy was a badass. And I thought that the way they added in like the electro theme to it was pinpoint perfect in my opinion. It's like that is how you do badass. You have dude destroying stuff with the epic pumping tune to it in the background, and then to me that says okay, this guy is not to be fucked with, in my opinion.
I don't agree, but you know that's whatever. But I just did not care for it. Yeah, I just didn't think it was. It just like it just sounded like somebody banging on a keyboard to me. It's like.
Yeah, it was just really distracting.
And then at some point, which was like they're having that big fight, and then on those crazy power plant things, it looks like a friggin' iTunes visualizer.
Oh yeah, I don't know if the only one that noticed that.
Nah, yeah, you're right. It was stupid.
It's like what?
That's that visualizer.
I think that part was the part when they were playing the Intimacy Spider. Tune.
No, there was a zoom out. It's zooming out, and all of a sudden it's like, and it's going.
Yes, I don't get that. It was cool to look at, but I didn't get that.
It was just corny. I guess we just have to agree to disagree. I couldn't stand the music. Let's talk about the thing that was foreshadowed the entire fucking movie. Gwen Stacy's death. Did you guys think the same thing I did? Because when they were on top of the bridge kissing, I'm like, oh shit, it's about to go down. It's about to go down.
You know something? I had the same thought because I always thought like maybe the goblin was going to pop up and that's how the shit was going to go down on the bridge or whatnot. But I don't know.
Yeah, you didn't watch the they had like a TV spot which was like 30 seconds long. They showed I think at the Super Bowl, and like it was that scene that they shown when Peter or Spider-Man is catching Gwen as she falls down, and then they fall through the top of the cathedral. It was then that I seen, hey, these clothes look very familiar. So
yeah,
I thought that is going to happen then and not on the bridge, like purely because that those two are together. Then
okay, I understand what you're talking about. I didn't see that spot, but I know why you would think that. I mean, the scene. I actually liked the way it was handled for the most part. Only thing I would have done is the instant where the web actually catches her, I would have made the ground a little bit lower, so because you could be mistaken that she like hit her head on the pavement or whatever, right?
Well,
like,
she kind of did.
She did. She hit hard.
Yeah, but it shouldn't have been like that. It should
like a smack.
Yeah.
I was actually
her back
loud.
Theoretically, her back didn't break. It was more like she got a really bad.
Her neck. or something.
Yeah, her neck was supposed to snap. So I wanted that ground to be lower so you could clearly see that her neck just fucking snapped. It wasn't just she hit her the back of her head on the pavement. I mean, it still worked. It was good, and that was one of the few scenes where Peter and Gwen that worked.
Technically, though, Goblin didn't throw her down. I think in the original comics, Goblin just
tossed her down. Yeah.
And this one, she just kind of fell like in the midst of all the fighting that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that scene was really good. I really liked the way that whole scene was handled.
It played out really well. It was probably the only successful scene in that whole film.
It was supposed to play. I don't think it was played out like super successful. I think it played out how it was supposed to. I think that's like what we're really looking for.
As opposed to the other stuff. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. But I liked it, and let's get.
Did you guys notice that when the time stopped on the clock, it was 1:21, which was the issue that Gwen died.
Oh, I didn't catch that. That's right.
You didn't catch that? Right. I was like, 1:21. That sounds extremely familiar. Like, that's the number of the issue. And everyone else just turned and looked at me in the cinema as if I was a crazy man. I'm like, you guys need Spider-Man in your lives.
I would have loved to be in the theater. I would have loved to be in the theater with people noticing that, because that's like one of those theater moments where you.
I was the only one who noticed. It's like every single like Spider-Man like hint that they dropped, like I was the only one that noticed. You know, like even when
to you, Brian, I noticed that every time you go to the movies, you notice the cool little things, and nobody around you notices it, man.
What was it? There was a part when Norman said he does everything that a spider does. I started laughing like crazy, and no one else said shit. I'm like, do you guys know who Spider-Man is? Like, this line is gold.
No, you're coming. Read the comics, motherfuckers.
Most people don't know that stuff. Or even everything a spider does, that's just the song from the old show.
Exactly.
So. Let me ask you guys this. Since we're talking about Gwen's death or whatnot. Now that Gwen's dead, okay. And keep in mind, Felicia shows up in the movie.
Oh my God! Hold on,
what I want to ask though is, okay. With that being said, knowing these two things, do you think in the next movie, which is going to be about the Sinister Six, more than likely, okay, are they going to introduce Mary Jane?
Oh God. Okay, I need to talk about Felicia for a second. If that's supposed to be Felicia Hardy's supposed to be a fucking blonde, not a brunette, man. And she's not a secretary.
I could eat that with her being undercover. I could eat that and
she's not undercover agent. She's a fucking rich girl.
Yeah, change her hair color. I could roll with that. I could pass.
Nah, son. Nah, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it at all. It better be a fucking coincidence. I want to see Felicia Hardy with the blonde hair and she's a fucking rich girl. No. I'm not buying it. I'm sorry. There's some things I can forgive. Not that. The nerdy in me will not let that go.
That should not pass.
You shall not pass.
You mean Electro not wearing a big friggin' starfish on his head didn't make you mad?
No, I didn't mind that. Oh, by the way, so this dude is able to like teleport even his clothes. Like you got the shorts on too, homeboy.
He could do that. He could do that, and he can also teleport all the little bits and bobs that he has attached to his head too somehow.
Exactly.
I just don't understand that. It's like that that scene is the scene that they lost me with Electro and his powers. Because I'm like, okay, so what? The guy can now turn into nothingness. So technically he's invincible. Come on, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're gonna say bye to JJ. He needs to split. So thanks for joining us, dude.
Yeah, no problems, guys. I thought the movie was decent. It could have been a lot better. Hopefully, with the next sequel coming out, it'll be 1,000 times better than what this one turned out.
Sinister Six, man, they're coming.
Yeah, Sinister Six. Later, peeps.
All right, thanks, man.
See ya.
Later, man.
So yeah.
And then there was 3.
I feel outnumbered now. It's kind of like the Iron Man 3 review again.
Yeah, but man, did we do a spoiler cast for that? I think we did. I don't remember.
Oh yeah, we did. You guys liked it. I hated it.
Yeah, and now I don't hate the movie, but I kind of see where you're coming from the more I think about it. Anyway, but this movie, what were we talking about before Jay left? I totally lost track.
Gwen Stacy's death.
Gwen Stacy was after that.
Felicia Day.
Yeah, Felicia
Day.
Yeah,
Felicia Hardy.
That would have been funny if Felicia Day was playing Felicia Hardy.
No. No, don't get anywhere near Spider-Man, please. Let's talk about what we think about the third movie, because obviously you saw the octopus arms, you saw Vulture's wings, you saw the rhino suit. It's the Sinister Six. Now the fan in me is like, wait, I get to see the Sinister Six. That's awesome. But at the same time, I'm going, okay, you had this movie had 2 villains and it was a jumbled mess. What if you have 6 villains? How horrible is that going to be? I'm worried about that. Is this Mark Webb guy going to direct the next one? Cause
yeah, they're saying that he's just gonna do. He's like signed on for like 3 films, just like everybody else. So just like before, it's probably just gonna end off like that.
I'm guessing that they're going to do what is like the trend now and to leave the last one or split the last one into 2 films. Like they did that with like Twilight. They did that with the Harry Potter movies. So maybe they'll do that because that is the only way that they can do this. Like 6 guys in one movie, like.
Yeah, that's super. Like you could have 6 guys in one movie if you already established them in the previous movie. They didn't do that yet, so they need to at least establish them in the next one. Then you have the Sinister 6 afterwards.
The Lord of the Rings was like 3 hours of 3 movies, or 3 movies of 3 hours, and that was like 1 guy. So what the fuck? 6 guys in like 2 hours.
Yeah, it's like I don't know how they're gonna pull that off, but where do you think Spider-Man's gonna go from here? Because now he's lost Gwen Stacy. Do you think they're gonna have MJ come in to kind of fill that void now?
They have to. Like they need the damsel in distress. It's kind of like a sad state that it is, but they need a damsel in distress for Peter to do something and like bounce back from, because or else he's going to turn into emo Spider-Man again.
We don't need that shit again. No, man.
That's the one thing everyone agrees on. We don't need that.
Yeah. So you're right. We need a damsel in distress / love interest. You know, we got to get that in there too. I don't know, man. It's just like I know the script writers. I don't know if they're gonna come back. Like I said, I don't think there's a bad movie. The base is not bad. It's just the writing is just so terrible. And
it's just a lot of it was just a disjointed mess.
Yeah, it's like, come on, man. There's something cool in here, but it's not like this is still better than Spider-Man 3. Nothing could save that piece of shit. There was nothing redeemable about that. There's cool things in this one, and like I said, I like Spider-Man in this. I think that's the closest that Spider-Man will ever get.
To be honest, I think that the RoboCop remake is way better than this Spider-Man film.
That's sad.
You've never seen the RoboCop film, but
yeah, but it's a remake. That lets you know right there, dude.
Yeah, so is this movie. So what the fuck?
Well, it's not a remake of Spider-Man 2. It's just the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I would have taken a remake of Spider-man 2 over this shit that they gave us.
Spider-Man 2 was
I would much rather watch the Spider-Man 3 over again, because at least that movie's fun. Because at least that movie's kind of stupid and fun.
Spider-Man 3 was not fun.
This film was not fun.
Spider-Man 3 got painful towards the end. Like this one was not near that bad.
Spider-Man 3 was painful. Period.
This film was so bad that we started talking through it halfway through. That's how bad it was.
Yeah, you and your head and Jossie, you started talking. I'm like, what the fuck?
It's horrible.
Emo Spider-Man. Honestly, seeing him dance around in a club and point at girls.
I know what's gonna happen.
Come on, really?
He's gonna get the black suit now in the next film. That's what's gonna happen.
No, they better stay away from that shit.
But then no, they can't do the black suit.
Sandman's gonna show up. Hey, I'm not a bad guy.
All right, we're about to wrap this up. Anything else about the movie before we finish it? What's up?
Goblin-itis comes and goes like herpes.
No, because now the stupid suit cured him apparently. But yeah, now it's in herpes mode.
Yeah. At the end,
they're like, it comes and goes.
At the end of the film, he's like, so you're looking a lot better, and he's like, it comes and goes. I'm like, so it's like herpes? He's got goblin herpes?
Yeah, you're right about that, but I guess it kind of stabilized him. He's not dying anymore.
Oh, whatever.
I still do like the whole like dying shit. I'm like, okay, so he's dying. So how does he become the Green Goblin? It's he takes the venom thing and suddenly he's evil. It's like, really, guys? Like,
no, he was.
At least try.
The thing is, he was already becoming evil, like stupid and crazy and evil. As soon as he said, "Oh well, no, I can't give you my blood," he's like, "What? What?"
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. That was ridiculous. He was like, "Peter, you took a picture of Spider-Man. That means you know him. Find it for me." This is how the whole scene should have played out. Peter, you took a picture of Spider-Man. Can you find him? I'll be like, I can't find fucking Spider-Man. I just took that one picture. I'm done. That's it. That's the whole scene. It was stupid. You take a picture of Spider-Man once, and all of a sudden you know him. That was retarded. And then that scene afterwards, damn you, Spider-Man! It's like, get the fuck out of here.
Curse you, Spider-Man. I'll make you pay.
It's like we're trying to elevate comic book movies here. Don't throw shit like that in there. Look at Captain America. That's how you do it, man.
Yeah. This film in a lot of ways felt like a step backwards. I felt like I was watching like X-Men 3.
I would go after X-Men 3 is an abomination. And I can't say it's a step backwards because I still liked it better than the first one, because the first one the first hour I wanted to leave. I'm like, I saw this already. This is stupid.
I personally actually like the first film better than I like this film. Just because it's on its own, it works as a film. This one is just all broken.
Yeah, that's the thing about this movie. The things I didn't like about it were not too much the nerdy stuff. It was the fact that it was just a bad pieced together film.
Number one, even if you're going to make, you're going to retell all of the lineage and all that stuff, you're going to change stuff around. Okay, that happens when you make films. But just make a film that fucking works. That's the problem.
I still like this one more than the other one, but because, like I said, this movie didn't have any scenes where I was just like, God, I didn't have anything like that. I see what you're talking about. I see what you're saying. But yeah, it's like, Mark Webb, man, you're a professional director. You're getting paid money. You better direct better, man. Seriously. I don't know. Or maybe it was the editor. Did the editor fuck it up in post-production? Somebody fucked it up along the way.
Who knows? Maybe the film was actually a lot longer than we thought it was.
And this movie was already too fucking long.
Yeah, it was really long.
It's like by the time Electro died, he was like, okay, that's the movie right there. No, there's like 20 more minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see for Spider-Man 3. I'm still in it,
I'm
debating whether I want to see that next film.
Yo, man,
I'm invested, so I have to see how this goes. And plus I want to see how they, or even if they do a Mysterio thing, I'd like to see them try.
That's what I wanted to bring up.
The dude has a fishbowl on his head. Come on, guys.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work. That's going to be stupid.
I'd love to see that. Come on.
I almost feel like the whole Sinister Six is not going to be in the next film.
It better not be.
I feel like it's going to be like half of them. The ones, the big ones. There's going to be 4, maybe 4.
I would like that. It would be better. Like I said, just establish a couple of them in the next one, then you have all of them in the fourth one. I need to bring this up because this was stupid. Before we went to see the movie, they were all like, stick around. There's going to be something special. It's X-Men related. It was all over the internet. Like, go watch it. Something special. I'm like, okay, something X-Men related. That's cool. We go in there. That was so stupid. It's okay. You have the credits, the first credits. Then they show a preview of X-Men. I'm like, what does this have to do with Spider-Man? This had nothing to do with it. It's just plopped in there. It's like these movies aren't even in the same universe.
I was so confused about it. I'm like, oh wait, I guess Spider-Man's gonna show up in this? No, it's just a Mystique fight at the end, at a portion of the new X-Men film. Yes, I know it's coming soon, but do we need to see that? No.
Yeah, it's a waste. I'm like, why did you do it? It's just shameless self-promotion and it made no fucking sense at all. No sense. Like, is this gonna happen in the next Spider-Man movie? Is that what you're trying to tell me here? I didn't get that.
It's because they didn't have anything. They just did the normal film, and then they're just like, oh, well, we kind of have to put something in there.
No, they didn't, because they're trying to be like a Marvel film movie. Yeah. That's why. That's what they're trying to do.
I'm sure Avi Arad figured out a way to get those two things to work, because, Spider-Man is Sony and X-Men is
Fox.
Fox, yeah. I was going to say Universal. No, it's Fox.
Yeah, it's Fox, because, they got the X in there. Yeah, man. Spider-Man. All right, like I said, I'm still in it, but Mark Webb, step your game up, son. That's
maybe hire some non-retarded writers.
It's like gay guys. Once you write a draft, you gotta write it some more. You can't just submit your first draft. It doesn't work like that. All right, guys. So that was it for the Amazing Spider-Man. Spoiler alert. I guess the next movie one we're gonna do is Godzilla.
Yes.
I'm so looking forward to that. I haven't
seen posters about this movie ever ago. It's like on buses, on bus stops, everywhere. I'm like, I know, I will watch it on the day. Just bring it to me already. I need it now.
Yeah, that's 2 weeks from now. So we gotta hold off, Brian. Just calm down.
You're like Total Recall. You're like 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
When's it coming out on that side?
16th.
15th here. So
okay, so one day next.
On my birthday in England and Europe.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes.
Manny's birthday's the 15th, so on the 16th we're gonna celebrate.
It's a celebration, Bishop.
All right, guys. So thanks for listening and watching. Tonight I was joined by Brian Munjoma
Hey, people, that was fun. I'll see you on the next one, I guess.
and Emilio Lopez. They can't hear you, man.
I didn't say anything.
Bro, yo, bitch, we're doing the audio, man.
Oh yeah. See you later, guys.
And of course, I'm Tony Polanco. Make sure to listen to our Game of Thrones spoiler cast. It's on the same channel, same bat time, same bat channel, I guess.
Also, don't forget to listen to the Throwdown.
Listen to the fucking Throwdown, because that's the heart of this thing. It has a little logo there too, TV. Listen to all our shit. We curse a lot. All right, people. Thanks for watching, listening. We'll see you next time. Peace out.